their medicine to a certain point, you know. I mean, they had a broad view of it, or
Oh yeah.
broad use of it. If they, I know the Kaiwas really knew this pneumonia. They can sure cure you. Your pencil? Let me
Yeah.
see.
This is October 26th, 1987. This is Joe Todd, an interview with Mr. Reuben Stumblingbear in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, this. Well, this is one of my daughter's home here.
Okay. So where were you born?
Well, I don't rightly know, but just according to, the way I think, over west of Apache, about 9 miles. And at that time there was no such a thing as a doctor, a midwife, or what do you call those people?
And when's your birthday?
It's 1915, but that I don't exactly know either. But
Yeah.
my sister, one of my older sisters, said it was in May. So I don't know the right date on it. So I will say May 25th.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Who is your father?
Andrew Stumblingbear.
And your mother?
Toyson. Toyeson.
Okay.
And my mother was a daughter of Tse'able. He's he's one Indian that performed the first surgery.
Okay.
He extracted the bullet from one of the boys, one of his
Yeah.
people that was hit.
Yeah. How do you spell his name?
Tse'able.
That's okay.
Yeah, I can get it once I get that. We got Parker McKenzie over there. You probably know him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Okay.
he can spell them words. I talk to him every now and then because we both go up there to the senior citizens thing over in Carnegie. We have a lot of fun. We tell
So
stories.
you say your grandfather was the first one to perform surgery?
On my mother's side.
Uh-huh.
That wasn't Stumblingbear. That was
Yeah.
Tse'able.
Yeah.
So, and this boy was hit right in the jaw, right above the jaw, right down through towards his collarbone. So he was bleeding badly, I suppose. And they were out in the field. They were somewhere in Texas or Arizona. And Grandpa came up, and he seen that he was bubbling out blood. He told him, he says, drag him down there, this little incline or whatever, slope like, So they put him on there with his head down, and all that blood rushed out of his lungs. See, he was drowning.
Yeah.
And then he started breathing again. And so he wanted a drink. 4 times he wanted a drink. And they tried to give him a drink with all that water just poured out of here.
Yeah.
So he says, all right, give me that water. He took his hand, and held it right against right where the wound was. He drank. And I said, that boy didn't need no medicine. He was using his darn head.
When did the Kiowas first come to Oklahoma?
That's one thing. That's why I go up there. It's well, they were on a warpath, or they were fighting the cavalry and all that junk, and they were just here. There was up around Kansas, up around Medicine Lodge and up in there. So, you know, that's one thing, you know. See, the Kiowas don't have a real calendar that they used to have a fellow by the name of Silverhorn that does that. He does a drawing. But they always there's a year there that they call a great outlook on him that they get. See the cavalry that brought him to they rounded him up, in other words. White Bear and Sitting Bear. It was all, you know, they were renegades, you know. So they finally brought him in over here to Fort Sill. And
Where'd they bring them from? Where were they?
just where they could find him.
Yeah.
They were on the loose up there in Arizona, you know, up in that country. And they usually, Dad said they usually go down there, up there, over at Amarillo. You know, what is that little, there's a canyon down there pretty close.
Paladera Canyon?
That one.
Okay.
If they went on a warpath, you know, that's where they regroup, you know, they rest. And they fresh water when they got ready to went on. And that I imagine Dad is always talking about Sheridan, General Sheridan. See, that was Grandpa's friend. And Dad said he was just a small boy then. And what he was big enough to, you know, run around. But he always say that well, pretty often a runner would come down there and he says, the general want to see you. That'd be in the morning, so he'd get on his horse and go up there, and they'd have a breakfast together. And of course, Dad had to be around there somewhere, and in order to see him, they'd feed him in the kitchen. And that's why he loved his coffee until the day he died. He said, I learned how to drink coffee in Sheridan's kitchen. And
why was Sheridan and your grandfather friends? How did they become friends?
Well, after they, see, when they was on the warpath, the last break that they made, going out towards, they was going to White Bear, and this White Bear and Grandpa must have been cousins. They were pretty close.
Now, what's your grandfather's name?
Tse'able.
Tse'able?
Yeah. And White Bear was St. Andy. They must have been pretty close because they were kinfolks. Because their people always see us yet. And so they was down here. They've always been around this what's known as the Medicine Bluff and that Medicine Creek. They were camped around in there as when they made a break. They slaughtered a wagon train over here. It's in the history book, but somewhere, you know, it kind of varies, you know. And so they were up hitting the frontiers up around Arizona and them places, and so Kicking Bird and Grandpa were cousins. All right. Kicking Bird's daughter was sick at that time, and they couldn't travel with her. That's the reason them two stayed. And I guess they done the right thing. Otherwise, they'd been caught up in that dragnet they had up there. So they were here, and them other chiefs, you know, they was making fun of them about being afraid, you know. But they wasn't afraid. It was to me, they were using their heads, you know.
Now, what dragnet would they have been caught up in? When they rounded up the Kaiwas? Or?
Yeah, that's that dragnet there. That's a roundup that they had. The Kaiwas always got a name for that. Okla, when they drove them in, is the meaning of that.
Any stories about that when they drove the Kiowas to down here? Any stories about that you've heard?
Let me see. Oh, well, just like this white bear was way up there on the plains, and he sent this Indian captive. I think his name is that was out of the Okla family. He was a captive. He wasn't no Indian at all. Let's see, it's not Monkey. It's I forgot his name. Anyway, he was with that bunch there. So White Bear and them people told him, says, you go down there to Fort Sill. They were camped in Cameron was here. You go down there and tell them too. They met Grandpa and Kickenberg. That to set they got a name for the Apache, the army. So sent their soldiers up here. We were getting rusty with our fighting or with the war or along that line there. And so that man came down. I've seen that man too. And I've done forgot his name. And but he wasn't no Indian at all. And he married another captive. So you see that he was, but they took Kaiwas. Well, anyway, he says, send the soldiers up there. We want to have a little skirmish and all that, They didn't know what was coming up, So I guess Grandpa and Kickenberg's Indian name was Andy on the goat. It's a Kickenberg. See, my grandpa's name is misinterpreted. It should have been Throwing Bear. And it means throw. But they said Stumbling Bear, so somebody didn't know how to spell, or they made a shortcut of it. Well, they went up there and talked to the general up there, what the word that was, that was brought down. So they found out where he was. I mean, where the Indians were up there. I imagine it was in Arizona, right along in there, where the bad lands of, So they set up they had a bunch of group. They had them surrounded. Boy, they said Dad was he used to laugh about that. He said, boy, they took off in this direction. Down just over that hill here, they met up with a bunch of them soldiers. Yeah, they went this way. So boy, they just going around and around like that till they caught him. So they brought him back. And that's then they settled him over here. Some of them they took to Florida.
And Fort Marion?
Huh?
Down to Fort Marion?
Yeah, they put him in jail. They were prisoners. So Grandpa and Kickenberg didn't go because it was eating good over here. There was nobody to bother. It was protected. And then they got that woman hard. They got Sitting Bear, White Bear, Big Tree, and this Tawas on I don't know just what he's a chief all right, but I never did hear too much of him. I mean, in a way that like I heard about the other people. Well, they had him rounded up here, and that you probably heard about that Sherman House Incident over here.
Tell me about that.
Oh, well, that was the time when they brought him back, so they had him in jail. And so one day, Dad said they met up there. They got names of their own, but it's been such a long time I forgot them. But that place is still there. That's where they met. Oh, he said there was a cordon of soldiers all around there with the rifles ready. All right. Said, all right, would commence. And that, see, they slaughtered a wagon train. Some colored had a wagon train going somewhere in Texas or one of them forts, and White Bear ambushed him.
Was that here in Oklahoma?
Yes, it was. It must have been around Red River or somewhere along in there. And so they was this general from Texas was one of these people that was involved in it. He wanted to take him back to Huntsville, I think it was, or somewhere along in there. And he wanted to kill him, hang him. But Grandpa and Kicking Bird wouldn't have that. So that's what they were arguing about. And so it went on, and this general, now I used to know his name, but then I got after Dad died, then he used to tell me them things all the time. And Grandpa was up there on that. Well, he was talking to this general. Grandpa was wanting to take him, go ahead and take him, but return him, after so long, In other words, imprison him, and then, But no, heck, he wouldn't have it like that. So he named White Bear. Got up. He told Grandpa, he says, "You tell that general over there." He says, "I took my boys over here in Texas, and I'm the one that slaughtered that wagon train there." And he says, Sitting Bear, Woman Heart, and then a big tree, and then he named certain ones, and Grandpa stopped him. He says, "You stop right there." He says, "Don't name any more. Don't make it any worse than what it is already." So this general had his mind made up already. So he told him, and he says, "All right, you guys, or you fellas, you're supposed to be chiefs now. That time has come now." He says, we may all die, but he said, "You're chiefs now." He says, "Something's coming up now, right? It ain't gonna be long now." He says, you all sit tight and be ready for it." He says, "I'm gonna kill this general." And that's when, maybe you've seen that, it came out in a newspaper one time, it said "Assassin's Arrow." And that general started, well, he was pacing back and forth. And Dad said, "Your Grandpa," he says, you know how the horses got them halters with the blindfold, blinders, He said all he could see was that man walking. And they let him go in there. Stumblingbear and Grandpa and Kicking Bird went in there with their arrows. So they didn't get him because they're supposed to have been peaceful, They're not like, they weren't like them other ones. So here he was pacing. Then he went that way, and all he could see was a soldier walking. So when he came towards him, he had his arrow already. They got an Indian bow. They're not very long. I used to have one, and he shot him. Well, when he drew back oh man, he's going to put it to him, I guess. And then when he drew back, White Bear was sitting here, hit his arm, deflected his shot. Said it hit up there in the ceiling. He said that commotion broke loose there. The slapping of rifles, and somebody was hollering over here. That was the general over here. He was hollering for the soldiers not to shoot. And I said, whenever on the melee kind of quieted down, he says, Kicking Bird was on top of this general, the Fort Sill general, with a knife right at his throat. So I said, first shot, he'd have lost his head. So Grandpa, they finally quieted down. Well, they agreed to go ahead and take the fellows that was messing around with that wagon train, they killed them all. They killed even their mules. I don't know what good it does, but they're pretty mean. And so they all right. Then right there, that's when Dad used to tell me about it. He said there was one in that bunch. He said he was a real chief. That the one that was going to take, and that was Sitting Bear. His dad was the chief. White Bear wasn't nothing. He said they shot him like a dog. So he used to that tree used to be there. You know where that golf course or that parade grounds is at Fort Sill? You know, going towards into the lobby.
Okay, the old parade ground on the
the old one. You know, right by the highway.
Mm-hmm.
There used to be a tree, a pecan tree, over there by the, just before you get to that creek.
Yeah.
He said that was a tree, and I seen it. He said, you see that tree over there, son? He says, that's a tree that, said they was taking them already to Huntsville then. So he sang that song, it's recorded. And he sang that song, and he was talking. He says, Sitting Bear will not pass that tree over there. That's it. That's where they killed him. They shot him there.
How many were in the group?
You mean the soldiers?
Yeah, how many Indians just sitting
there?
Oh,
they had. Well, I mentioned there was 4 or 5 of them.
They shoot all of them?
No, just that one particular one. That they said he got an eye somewhere, but Dad always did say that was one of his things that he had inside of him. See, a lot of people don't believe in things, but they were there. He said he got it out. He had his medicine. And then he knifed that man, but he cut his leg open, I think, or something like that. That's when they shot him. So what they didn't record was the fact that that general, when he found out about that, when they killed Sitting Bear, he made him dismount right, and they walked all the way into Texas, up there to where they were, their destination. But that was the deal right there. And we was over here at Fort Sill. You know, when they had the, I think it was a 200th anniversary of that. You know, they had we put on the reenactment of that Sherman House Incident. I was in it.
Now, White Horse, was he Kiowa?
Yeah.
Now, I've heard about the time that he stole the horses, or from Fort Sill.
Yeah, well, a lot of things happen like that, but, it's just, I just maybe, I was just a boy, but Dad used to, usually when we sleep or something like that, he'd sing them songs, then they'd tell me, the song is related to a certain incident, Yeah, Grandpa, the way he made sheep, he walked from here, from the area around Mountain Scott, all the way into the big mountains.
The big mountains.
That's in Arizona. Him and his friend, they were just young boys. Mm-hmm. They followed the group.
How does a person become chief? What do they have to do to become chief?
You get in a battle, and a coup or whatever they call it. The grandpa had 2 or 3 coups at that time, but a bird helped him. He went and fested. When they got way up there, there's another place up there that they regroup themselves, the horses and stuff. That's where they were. They had about 6 days up there. So Dad said, Grandpa, he was just about, his parents had died, and he was just more or less roaming here and there, I guess. Mm-hmm. So he went up there on that peak, like, there's pretty good sized mountains. He went up there, and a bird helped him. And that's Swifthawk is what it was. Mm-hmm. And what that bird told him, predicted for him, they went right down the line, step by step. Mm-hmm. So that's hard to believe, but it was there.
Now, what is the Kiowa name for Stumbling Bear, or Throwing Bear? What was your grandfather's name again?
Satan Kia.
You know how to spell that?
That's a Satan.
S-A-T-E-M,
Yeah,
Satan?
Yeah, I-M, Kia.
I-M, Kia.
K-E-A-H, I think. Is
Yeah.
that that's what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way.
Okay.
Grissom over here, you know. What's
Yeah,
that?
Gillette.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
used to call him Sadikia, you know. He really, them boys over there, I was working at the complex over there. We was writing that a newsletter, and it's one of them guys be coming up the hallway. He says, "Is Sadikia around here somewhere?" Yeah, you know, I was intending to write that story in our paper, but somehow it didn't seem right, so I never did. It's his story, you know, and I know it, but I didn't think I had the right to tell it, so I never said nothing about it. Yeah, that Grandpa was in on a lot of skirmishes, you know, and well, there's one incident that Dad always tell me. Now, I don't really know whether it was the troops or the Texas Rangers. Now, there's two groups there that was fighting. All right, but it was one of them groups. So, all right, now we're gonna. There was planning that. Grandpa was right in there with him. He says they found a spot. He says they're gonna come up here. There was I think it was might have been a creek or brooks or whatever, you know, on both sides of kind of a narrow place. All right, he says we're gonna ambush him right here. And somewhere near the scouts spotted a camp. So they sent out two decoys. They said, you go around there, and as soon as when they get ready, let them see you, and they're going to chase you. And when they chase you, you're going to make a swoop around over to the north and come in through there, and we'll be ready right here. All right, here they came. It must have been a company of soldiers, but they had rifles, you know. These Indians, they had bow and arrows. All right. Dad said, here they came. Yeah, then they was on their tails, and then here they came. They got right in that, between them two ditches or whatever they were. They ambushed them. They killed them to the last man. They took off their uniforms, and Dad said, arrows are really devastating when you get them in range. You cannot, there's no way. They'll hit your horse, and that horse will throw you. Then from there, you're a dead duck. They said they got him in the arrow range, and boy, they just slaughtered him. All right, then they took their uniforms. They put them on. And they two by two, you know, they started just like them soldiers. Boy, them frontiers, some Mexicans or something, seen them. Boy, their hats went up in the air, you know, hey, they're coming towards us. However, they said, well, just a minute now, and don't get too anxious. Here, just in about 100 or 50 yards or 100 yards, boy. Oh, they said they killed a lot of them like that, you know. Imitate.
Where did that happen?
In Texas.
In Texas?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And the soldiers, were they from what, Fort Davis?
You know what, of course, Dad, he just said, Soleg, or that means soldiers, so it could have been a troop, but I never did see it in the history, you know, but Dad said they cleaned them out, they cleaned they got every one of them, but usually it'll be in the history, you know.
Yeah. What tribes traditionally are friendly with the Kaiwas, and what tribes are enemies of the Kaiwas?
Well, the ones that they had with them all the time was the Comanches.
So they were friendly to the Kiowas and the Comanches?
Yeah, they always were. They never did fight. But the Kiowa Apaches came later, but we don't know where they came from. See, they first came wanted to settle with the Comanches, but the Comanches wouldn't have it. So they came in with the Kaiwas. And Dad said, in a kind of a joking way, he says, they had women, that was one of the reasons. Well, anyway, they were scavengers. That's all they were.
And what tribes have been the traditional enemy of the Kiowas?
Oh, all them Western Indians, like Navajos.
Yeah.
Them Hopis, and Utes. Grandpa scalped a Ute alive over here. I guess it was in Colorado and New Mexico. And they said they didn't like Grandpa that way. He took his scalp and let him go.
How does a Kiowa count a coup? How does that? You said that your grandfather had several coups that he.
Yeah. Well, I think they hit him with something, with a spear or something like that. Well,
No.
that first time he got a stallion, they had a name for him, and when they broke to attack, they was chasing about 4 or 5 of them. And that horse there, Dad said the way he was running, he said he didn't hardly feel him running at all. He just passed all the group and he knocked the first one off. He turned around and came back and knocked the next one off. By that time the rest of them got there. But he made a lot of kills, I guess. And he was just a young boy. And right there, that's where he was taken into the chief thing. See, he was.
Who were they fighting over there?
It was well, they fought the Utes and the Navajos quite a bit. And I think while they was fighting, they had horses there somewhere. That's Utes. I think had horses, and they did take it. And one expedition that Grandpa and there's 2 of them went up there, I guess. When they get tired around here, I guess they take off. They was up there and somewhere they lost a horse or broke his leg. So they were up on the hillside, up on the hill, way back up in I imagine it was pretty close to Ute country. So they said they were scout, there's a tree there. One of them would sit up there while the other one laid on it. They was resting, The other one laid around and rest himself, Then after a while, he'd come down. The other one got up there. And Dad said Grandpa was on the ground when this other guy was up there. He just happened to look at that guy, up in the tree, and his facial expression changed. Well, he said he started coming down. He said, hey, get up. He said, they're right on us. I guess some hunter must have seen their horse. And they went up, and then they got, he said, way down below. It must have been on a kind of a flat top or a mesa or something like that. He said they was having horse racing. He said, I said, there was, boy, you hear them gunshots, And Dad said, it must have been 4th of July. He said, I don't know whether the 4th of July was that old. It could have been. But they was having a picnic, or something. And so he said, boy, they was right on him when they he said, all right, he says, you ride the horse. So they had one horse, So I'll whoever rides the horse, got the shield of the one that's running. So Grandpa jumped on the horse, and this man took off, boy. And they're fast, Boy, he said, them guys took in after them. And so when they get too close, Grandpa, they had a bunch of arrows, I guess, and went on. And pretty soon he was getting tired, And said, hey, he said, God damn, he said, I'm getting tired. Well, Grandpa rode up and jumped off, and he got on, and Grandpa took off then. So they asked for there's one particular one. Boy, he was getting right on him. And they were shooting him with them buffalo rifles, but they're long. And they'd jump out of the way, they're quick, they're agile. And he caught his horse. And I don't know, the one on the horseback was keeping these off. But this one on the, he said, they acted strange. And Dad said, they might have been drunk, drinking. So he had him by the, right here on the, bit or whatever they were using. And that horse's head was here. As soon as he'd bring that long rifle around this way, he'd throw the horse's head and jump on this side. And all that time he was getting ready, he was getting the air right. Finally he was ready when he jumped over to the side. When that guy kind of turned around towards him, he shot him right through here. And he put it clear through him. And that after he did that, the rest of them kind of laid off until they got in the woods and they got away from him. So that was like it killed him, by
Oh, thank you.
Do you sugar, I guess he put
No, that's fine. Thank you.
How was you sugar?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's he told me a lot of stories. Well, he told me a story about this. You know this Tonkai, they always call it.
Tonky, Samuel White?
Yeah, that was his name. It's not his name. He just took it. That belonged to his brother. I used to play baseball with his brother. And I know that old man that was involved in that name. His name was Clyde. And so Clyde stayed with that was his nephew. And he liked him. He stayed there with him, Well, Curly, the Wells called him Curly, took care of him. So one day, Dad said they was encamped over there at Mountain Scott, where later it become my aunt and uncle's place. My aunt was one of Ts'able's daughters, and she was a twin to my mother. And it's up there where Old Man Horace, right south of Old Man Horace's place. Dad said that creek, ran. It still runs, but it's not deep like it used to be. Then he was telling me just exactly where it was. It curved like that, right there. He said it was a deep hole. I guess the Indians were camped in there. And so one day Indian woman and a man come over there. And this medicine man was Tonacott at the time. So they rolled him a cigarette and gave it to him. And they always they say, oh, it's just what do you all want? I'm just a poor man, they don't brag around here. Well, anyway, when they give that cigarette and he takes it, then he's going to do it. So he says, he just smoked it, And I said, now what can I do for you? He says, all right, our little boy's dying. He says, get him ready. All right. Dad always tell me, he was showing me, he says, that sun was right here, like this. He always point up, and then he says, well, that's when they went in the water. Then they came out when it was over here. And I just, to myself, I theorized it about, I said about better than 2 hours in the water with that boy. And without nothing. See, that's what a lot of people can't believe. But Dad was there. He said, I was sitting right down the bank and watching him. So he got ready, and he had helpers, they started singing. Oh, they went on. Excuse me. So he took that baby. And Dad said he looked at that boy and he said he didn't look good. He said he's breathing fast. Had pneumonia, I guess. So he took it in his arms. And he backed up. Backing up. So his dad said, I was watching that water. And then finally it'd rattle like that, and then pretty soon they got still, and there was inside already. So these are the people were singing, all the time, stop a while, they'd smoke, I think, or something, and pray. And then, but, just like you said, that sun was right here when they went in. And that's a long time, without, just breathing, no air. And he said there was no other way. I mean, he said, I don't doubt it because I was there and seen it. So a fella has to more or less believe that, I did. That Dad won't lie to me like that. So, he said finally that water started moving again. Now that's where that name's going to come in. Oh, he was watching it. That water was clear and blue. And pretty soon he seen that, that was coming out. He sent the water around, and then, send the waves up there against the bank. That's the name. Tone guy, that water goes. And that's the name. That's interpretation there. And he come out, and that boy, he said, I looked at that boy, and that boy was breathing good. And he lived to an old age. Yeah, he said, Dad said he would have died in another half a day. He'd have been dead.
What did they do in the water? Does anyone know? What medicine did they use?
I don't know. Well, he's got according to Dad, tourniquet. That's a snapping turtle. He was just a poor boy, and I guess he was down on a creek somewhere, Madison Creek somewhere. He went to sleep on the bank of that creek there, and that turtle talked to him there, and that's where the story goes.
Is there a certain process that a Kiowa has to do to become a medicine man?
Well, just like Grandpa, you fasted for 4 days and 4 nights. And the morning of the fourth day, that bird came around. It was still dark yet. You heard that bird fly around 4 times. You know a bird flying around, you can hear it. And then that's when he landed. And the bird asked him, he says, why are you here? And then, in Kiowa, I can. And Grandpa told him, he says, I'm just a poor boy. He said, I don't have no parents, or he's just loose, I guess. And he said, they're coming over here on this expedition there. He says, I'm with them. I don't hope to realize anything. He says, but I would like to. Well, that's when that bird told him, said, you're going to get a horse. You're going to get a horse. And then, then he told him, as it just step by step. My God, it happened like that.
What else happened? What else did the bird say?
Well, he says, you're gonna kill two, that kills, then you're going to become a chief. There it was right there. He already told.
You say that was swift talk?
They got a name for it in Kiowa. It's a capadon. That's it's one of them birds that fly real fast. They make a humming sound. I don't know. It must be a timber hawk, They're pretty good size, but they got slim wings.
I'm familiar with the red hawk.
Yeah, red tail is different.
Yeah, the red tail.
No. This was a different type. Well, that's the kind of. He said, I'm going to shake my feathers. And then when that feather falls, a little feather, he said it came out right here, and at least one. It fluttered to the ground, and he got it. He says, put sinew or something on it and tie it on your horse's tail or the mane, and so you'll find out. That's how come. Dad said he didn't hardly feel that horse running.
What is the traditional religion of the Kiowas? They still have any of the old traditions that they have?
The Coyotes more. They still do that right now. And that come from the Sioux, I think. I don't know how they got hold of the Coyotes in the southern part of the United States. But the Kaiwas, the Comanches and the Kaiwas, so of course they're together, you know, and Corner Park and them, you know, they used to do that. And Dad used to do that too, but he had a daughter that was sick, and he put all his faith in everything that, you know, been behind it. They had it for 4 days and 4 nights. And his daughter died right there. He went down there. He said, I asked him one time, I said, Dad, teach me some of them songs. No, he said, son, it's all right. I could teach you. He says, but you go ahead and go this way and let it go this way. That's what he told me. So, in other words, he didn't want to. So I never did ask him again.
Yeah. I've interviewed some of the other tribes, and they have what they call a great mystery. That does the Kiowas have what they call the great mystery in the traditional religion?
Well, this Time, the 10 grandmas, you know, they misinterpret that in that Anarchical paper. They said Tali. That's a boy. They don't go according to the boys. That's Tali is a grandma. That's the way I know it.
Yeah.
Huh?
Now you said the 10 grandmas?
Yeah.
Now what's the story behind that?
Oh, that's a religious group, but they didn't take it very long. They made him quit. See, they'd make a lodge. And this Mokin, old man, he's a captive. You know, he's out of the family, you know. And they always call me brother. So when we went to church up there at Saddle Mountain, boy, I hear him hollering way over there somewhere. Bobby, that's brother. He'd be hollering. And he met me, and boy, I come a running, you know. He said, come on now. He's got a cane. He's a pretty guy. He wanted to go relieve himself. You know, we go down to the ledge over there, rock ledge.
Good morning.
How
you doing?
And we sit around and he telling me them stories, you know, about the Sun Lodge. And the way he tells me, see, they fix the lodge. The old ladies of the tribe, you know, they haul sand. They put the sand on the floor. And they got a song, you know. I know that song. I don't know how I know it, but I still know that song. It says, the old ladies, you know. It says, we'll put sand. He said, we'll fix the floor. He says, I'm getting old, he says, but I still like to flirt around, you know. That's the way that song goes. All right, and then, so they get that ready. They put that pole up. It's a fork. They got that buffalo tied up there somewhere, I guess. And that's when they fast for 4 days and 4 nights in that place. They're allowed to eat watermelon. That's got a lot of water, you know. But well, then when that time comes, that's when the keeper of time, he comes out there. That was Bobby. He used to just tell me. He said, "I got feathers, crow feathers." Now that's what he told me, crow feathers. I guess he's got him fixed. When he gets ready, he wears his buckskin, you know. It's a ceremonial thing, you know. All right, so finally they get ready. So he chases them, you know. They got them songs, you know. Well, he says, Bobby, he says, I don't. Let's see. He always tells me, from into that corner. I don't even touch him. He says, just a sweep of his hand, I always flip it. And you know the power of that. See things. Nobody believes that, but he said when I sweep my arm, he said I can flip it. And he'd flip one, and he'd chase them other ones. Until he flips all of them. That's the way that lodge went.
That's the Sun Lodge?
Yeah, the Sun Lodge.
And he said they made him stop that?
Yeah, they stopped it. They made him quit.
Why'd they make him quit?
I don't know. I did this. The army, got, the agency or somebody got hold of it. So they made him quit. They didn't put no strings on him like the Cheyennes.
Yeah.
But they made him quit, and I think the soldiers, you know, had lots to do with it. They always talk of the year that they left the Fort Sill. That's that year they was going to have it, and the soldiers coming up, and everybody took off. And that's what that year they referred like that.
Did the Kaiwas ever take part in the ghost dance?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they got a head man there. His name was Apache. He said, "Oh, Apache." He says they're afraid of him. That's his name. And they got them songs. My nephew, he knows quite a bit of them, but I know some too. And they're real pretty songs, you know. They sing about the Messiah and all that stuff, you know.
Do you sing much anymore?
Oh, I sing.
How many clans in the Kiowa?
Let me see. Well, the ones that I could recall. Let me see. That would be the black leggings is the. Yeah. That's the one. That's the warriors. Then they got the gourd. And they got another one. And that's a bad one too. But they don't practice that. That's the alto. You know, that's alto. There must be a deer of some sort. That goes. But you gotta be something else to be doing that. Then they had another one, the red sash. You don't survive very often on that. Grandpa survived, and White Bear survived.
Now what is it?
White sash.
White sash?
Yeah. The time. Well, the way they do it, and when the enemy is they're preparing to go to battle, they're all getting ready. They take a long. They took well, according to Dad, he says they took Grandpa's spear and they put a sash around his stomach. They tied it to the spear. If you break that spear, I mean that sash away from that spear, you're not in it. You got to stay with it. So they said they stuck it in the ground, and that's when the hell broke loose. Grandpa had a wound right across his cheeks, and then on the shoulder. I mean on the hip. That's when it happened. He was tied down. So all he could fight. I would say that sash could have been. It couldn't be any longer than 6 feet. That's how much room he had. Yeah. And then you come out of it, you're in that sash as a society.
You know which battle that he was in with the white sash?
No, I don't know which one it was, but the White Bear, he survived it. He's a pretty good chief, all right, but he's meaner than hell. That's all I can say.
That would make you mean, dude.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he survived it. So there was two there. Well, there wasn't enough to have anything. It was just two. Some of them tried it, but they got killed.
Oh yeah. I've heard of the story of the white buffalo. That once in a while there is a white buffalo. Albino. How is that sacred to the Kaiwas? The white buffalo?
No, Dad never did tell me anything about that. And he never did say it's a white buffalo that in the Kiowa tribe, that is. It could have been in other tribes. It's possible that there could have been one. But the Kiowas there, as far as I know, my dad tells me most, a lot of stuff, but he never did say anything about a white buffalo.
What about the owl? How do the Kiowas What do they consider the owl?
Well, it's related to the dead people, or the one that passed on.
Mm-hmm. And all the Kiowas, some Indians are afraid of the owl.
Well, in a way they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they had a woman. She's out of our family, and she had that owl medicine, but they said she was a bad woman. and she had that owl medicine, and she said she even cured Tonica, the cattle was trying to kill him, and she had to doctor him. So she must have been bad.
Mm-hmm. How did the Kiowas cure pneumonia?
Oh, see right here, they feel around, you know. I had pneumonia and it wasn't curing me. That's how come I got experience on it. I could remember, but I was down.
Mm-hmm.
Oh heck, I was a sick little boy, and then I could hardly breathe. It hurt, you know, double pneumonia, I guess. So so my dad was getting worried. My mother was too. So all right, my older brother was there. He wasn't married then, but I could remember, you know, I was laying on a pallet on the floor, and man, I couldn't breathe. It started getting stuck, you know. All right, so we had pretty good horses, and we had a single buggy. My sister used to use it to school. So my brother got in there. Boy, they wrapped him up. It was cold snow, but he had to go through that old West Apache. You ever been on that highway?
I've been to Apache.
Yeah, well, you go west, and there's a place over there by the name of Boone. Mm-hmm. We're 3 miles west of there, you know, down, there's a creek there, and then across the creek. Well, they got him ready, and Dad gave him one of them fast-trotting horses. He took off for Saddle Mountain. He went over to the Gilbert's place, and that man's place is Goeytone. He says, Foxtail. That was his name, that man. He's a medicine man. I said, go get him. I said, hurry. My boy's dying. See, I could hardly breathe then. So the mother was helping me. She's, you know, meshing me down here, but no antibiotics or nothing. You're not going to survive that, or you'll die. So he took off. He said he got over there, and he said, you be sure and roll him a cigarette. He did, and that man knew something was up, you know, so he smoked it. And he asked him, he says, what do you need? He says, my brother's sick, dying. So they got ready right quick. They come right back. Because I remember, in the later years, I was afraid of that guy. Mm-hmm. Every time I see him, I was high somewhere. He said, wait, as soon as he came in, he got ready, and he cut me right. He cut me right here with it's a brown bottle, or maybe a beer bottle. It's not a plain glass or anything. He cut me here. Cut me in. Well, he started here, and he didn't put no horn on me. He did it, you know, with his mouth. Then when I was watching him, boy, he threw out a lot of blood, you know, it was all caked up. All right, and then he done it on this side. And again, two times on both sides and in the back. Then I don't know, he hit me with them feathers. And he made me smell something, I don't know what it was, but he stayed with me for about a couple of hours. And then I went to sleep then, and he said he'd be all right now. You know, next morning I was ready to get up.
How deep did he cut you?
Oh, it wasn't deep. I'd say just deep enough to, you know, to where the blood won't be caught with the skin or anything. Mm-hmm. I didn't hardly feel it. I just feel it going like that. But he sure did it. The next morning I was sitting up. Mm-hmm. I remember I was real hungry, you know. Boy, I started eating. He stayed there about 3 or 4 days. And every evening he'd take that blood out and get it. When he left, run there playing. Yeah, they know how to do that.
Oh, yeah. Is there any medicine that you make, with the plants or the roots or anything? Do you make any medicines?
No, I don't. I heard of some, but I don't practice it.
Yeah.
See, just like I said, the changing of time,
Yeah. Were the Kiowas held prisoner at Fort Sill for a while?
I think so. They told me where they were held, like drawing them on them. And White Bear and them was up there too.
How long were they held prisoner there?
Not long. They took them to over this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that this incident happened over here at Hall Creek. His name's Dr. Wing, but that's his translation name. Atom, that's what it means. Anyway, this white woman in Oklahoma City had double pneumonia. They gave up on her. Said, well, we're losing her. Said, there's nothing we can do. And somehow that her husband got somebody somewhere, he must have heard it, or somewhere he got in touch with some people over here. He said, all right, he says, if you can make it, he says, bring her. And he had to do something. That woman was dying. So they put her. Hey, that's one of them cars. There was, they were pretty good cars then. I guess they loaded her up. There was no ambulance, but he was a rich man. There he started out. Again, there he came. He come over here. Well, they did in the dark. Well, then they told him where he lived. Well, the same way, when he got there, Atom was ready. I guess somebody told him somebody's coming. So everything was ready. They brought that woman in and he started right there. Like, she went back home with her husband. He said, Dad always tell me, she said, that this man took out his checkbook. He says, how much money you want? See, but in that practice, that medicine practice, you got to take just so much, $7. And if you go beyond that, you go against your $7 and a good dinner. That's it. Well, and he got that woman well. That man wanted to pay him. He said, you just name your figure. He said, I got the money.
What type of houses did the Kaiwas live in the old days?
Log cabins.
Log cabins?
Well, I seen the one that they built for Grandpa. It was over there. Have you ever been on that road there where it says Stumblingbear Pass? They don't have that sign up just right. They ought to have it on the highway,
Now,
going in.
Near Apache or?
Yeah, west Apache.
West. Okay, I've been west of Apache when I went out and visited old Bill Mythlow, the old Kiowa Apache.
Oh, well, it's, you go by Boone. There's a Boy Scout camp up there on the hill, then our place is on this side. Well, you keep on going till you come to a T there, one road coming this way, then this one coming from Carnegie. Well, the one going south, that's Stumblingbear Pass, but they don't have no signs of it. Only place they got that is up there where that historical thing is, marker.
And you say that they lived in log houses back then?
It was, a part of it was log, I'm pretty sure. But some of it was boards. Because I seen there's a white man over there, his name was Jared. He had that long braids, He used to mess around with the Indians all the time. He'd take them to Kaiwas, he'd take them on a tour. Dad and them all still. He bought that house was still standing there when I seen that house. And he bought it, so they moved it over to his place, kind of museum-like piece, but I guess it just decayed and fell apart. Well, anyway, they built him a house. Dad used to tell me about his experience in that house first time. He said he didn't have no floor, it was just dirt. I guess they trumped it down. It had a fireplace. Dad said, hey, you know, he's wild. He looked at it and said, I wonder what this is for, you know. He said, when everybody wasn't in the house, you know, I guess to be outside, he'd crawl to that fireplace, and then he said he'd look up that flue, you know, and he'd see them stars up there, you know. And then he'd go, ooh, and then somebody else would go, you know, echo. But and then another thing, every year, at a certain time of the year, the Fort Sill or whoever's in charge there, that sent him, they'd bring him 2 horses, white horses. They'd bring him down with brand new harness and a wagon. Then they'd take the old ones back and they'd leave him the new, fresh horses. He said, that's our, Dad always tell them other little boys. He said, I didn't have to ride horses, I was riding a wagon.
What about the government schools for the Kiowas?
Well, they had one over in Anadarko. They call it the Kiowa School. Then they had one over, but later years that was Rainy Mountain.
Yeah.
But
Parker McKenzie went to Rainy
Mountain.
Mountain.
That's where he was a graduate. He's an alma mater there. And this one here at Kiowa School was Anadarko. You know, this railroad bridge. It's not there anymore. You go, the river bends like this, and then it bends again, and somewhere right along in there, that school was located.
Did you go to school there?
No, heck no, that's a long time ago.
Oh.
That, when Dad was a boy.
Yeah, okay.
And he must have went to about a 3rd grade, I think. Well, so that's what they called it, the Kiowa School.
Where'd you start school?
Boone.
Boone?
Yeah.
Was it the government school or just?
No, that was day school.
Just day school.
Yeah, oh man, I was a booger over there. Yeah, I said that teacher, I bet she sure missed me when I left. She works me every day. You want some more coffee?
Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
Hey, he's got plenty in there. He just brewed it a while ago. Sure. Hey, give him some more coffee, Jim. Huh?
So what you'll be using is this.
Oh, well, go ahead. Can you give him some?
Oh, no, that's okay.
No, I forgot to get a pound of coffee. Yeah, they said they was going to get some this morning. I guess they didn't. Well, that's all right.
Oh, that's okay. That's fine.
Yeah, I went to school. You know, we got friends in the. Grandpa used to be a friend to hippo birds. They used to roam around together, and he'd go down there and he'd come over here. They were brothers. And his people, you know, I remember we used to go down there. Some Christmas we'd be over there, and the other Christmas they'd come with. And that old lady and that old man, they used to call me Buffalo Head. And so when I went to school, I didn't know my name was Reuben at all. So when I was in that room there, her name was Okla Vickery, my first teacher. She died here not too long ago. She almost outlived me. And she said, boy, I heard she was calling me, and finally them kids punched me, and they said, she's talking to you. Yeah, get away now. Get away. Hey, call her.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, go on now.
No, that's
go on.
okay.
Go on now. You go lay down somewhere. They said, then that's when they said, what's your name, boy? And I told her, Buffalo Head. She didn't believe it. She put a penny something on me. I took it home, and both my sister both she jumped all over me. And didn't you know your name was Reuben? And I said, no. So so next day I went over there, and that's when I knew I was Reuben. And, you know, I know how to cuss, and I know how to say bullfrog, and that's about all. And, you know, I jump good, you know, I did when I was in high school, you know. And I was standing broad jumping, I'd set a marker, you know. But, well, when somebody jumped, they'd come pretty close to me, you know, and I'd say, God damn, you know. And I didn't know I was cussing. He said, who's going to tell on you? I don't know why they're going to tell on me. See, all I tell them I was cussing. Well, anyway, I went to school at Boone. They, you know, we had outside toilets, you know, we had to go outside. But I didn't know how to say that, you know. So of course, you know what I said. You know what do you want, boy? So I want to, you know, that, and then I go, you know. I kept saying that, you know, for a long time, you know, and my sister got a hold of it. Oh boy, she gave me a heck, and then they give me a note. That's what it was. Said you better teach this boy. My sister told me later. Said you better teach your brother to say the right things. So he's getting nasty. So boy, she give me a heck. So that I know that particular weekend. Every time she see me somewhere, she said, "What are you supposed to say? May I leave the room? May I leave the room?" Boy, she stroked my head. I sure hot stuff, you know. What's he going to say? May I leave the room? Boy, that Monday morning I got up there. Oh, then finally I had to go, you know. What do you want, Reuben? I forgot. She put a note on me. When I got home, I said to her, boy, he was all over me.
Did your parents teach you Kiowa? Did they teach you the language?
Well, no, I just picked it up.
You just picked it up?
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know, as far as I'm concerned, or I don't care what they say about teaching somebody. You can't do it. There's just no way. You got to grow up with it.
Yeah, that's
right. Yeah. They try to teach them over here, and it's shit. People don't even know how to talk better than I do.
So, do you speak Kiowa now?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know a lot of incidents, you know, that happened. See, but you know, my grandpa, you know, see that he was tied with the tribe, you know. So, but what happened to him happened to the rest of it. See, it's just like in one of the medicine law's peace treaties. Him and White Bear, just two of them. All right, and then they had that Cheyenne, I forget that. I forget his name.
Black Cattle?
No, he's the other one. Anyway, he's over here. Some kind of a robe. Anyway, they was asking the Indians about how many years you want, in other words, to receive the annuities or whatever, you know, the rations, or you know. Well, White Bear got up, and he's always messing around. He said, just 1 year. He said, well, it'll just take 1 year. I'm war hungry. I want to go get on a war path. So it went around to the chiefs, you know, the Fort Sill, Kiowa Apaches. Then it got to Grandpa, and he got up and he told them, he says, without any arguments, without anything, reservations or whatever, you know, he says we're gonna have our. We're not the only ones. He said when we die out, there's gonna be the sons, their children, and right down the line in a chain fashion. And he says we'll wanna. He says without saying nothing further, he says make it 500 years. They didn't do it. So 50 years came. That's it. It ended. If they took it 500 years, we'd still been getting it, I guess. Yeah, your grandpa, I was say your grandpa must have had pretty good noodle on him. I always kid my daddy, you know. He's a pretty good sized man. See, my daughter drew his picture up there on that
It's in a book when I think you showed us or the other one. I think I showed us.
Yeah.
That's when he had the, well, there's a story behind that, that tunic he's got on. And I told him, I said, it's a good thing Grandpa's not around. He says, if he was, I said, I'd take him and give him a hammerlock, you know. Dad said, you can't do that to him. I said, it's me.
What's the story about the tunic he has on?
Oh, they was up on the prairie. Up here, you know, somewhere northeast of Shalako, where Shalako now stands.
Mm-hmm.
And they met up with the soldier, a bunch of soldiers there. There's a large group. All right, all them chiefs was there, I guess, and they said, all right now. He says, who wants to go up there and meet him? Meet the soldiers. Well, Grandpa volunteered. He says, I'll go. And they had a Mexican there, you know, they used for interpreter. He says, I'll take that. He's a captain, I guess. He says, I'll take him to interpret for me. And he says, all right, now I'm going to give you instructions now. He says, when we go, we get up there to that place there. When you see us go into that crowd there, you hear guns. He said, yo, take off, go, because we'll be dead. So Grandpa and this interpreter, they took off. They said, and they rode up. And they had red carpet on the floor. I mean, on the ground. And that's when I first heard about the red carpet thing, you know. So they got off and they took their horses and they went to a little tent. And went in there. That general, I forget his name. I can't remember that. He was there. So they shook hands and they started talking, you know. Grandpa was talking through the interpreter. Yeah, and they come to a pretty good settlement, I guess, and they got to be friends. And later they were friends. Well, so right somewhere before they left, they ate together. And before they left, that's when this general told him, he says, well, he says, I want to do something for you, and I think you deserve it. You know. So he told him, he says, in the face of death, you knew that you could be killed instantly. We could have killed you right on the spot when you rode up. He says, but in the face of death, you didn't even show it. He said, you rode up there, and you came for a purpose, and we done good at it, whatever the purpose was. And he said, for that reason, he says, I got this tunic on. He took it off right there and gave it to him. And Grandpa put it on. He's got 2 stars on there.
Yeah. Was it Sheridan or?
No, it wasn't Sheridan.
Sherman, Custer?
No, I know his name was that. God, I done forgot. But he's pretty famous though.
Yeah.
He's a 2-star general. Mm-hmm. And them other people try to duplicate that, but heck, they borrow them things some more. But this one here, that general himself gave it to him. Yeah. Kicking Bird had one, but his had eagles. So.
Did you ever do any work in the CCC program or WPA?
Yeah, I did.
Which, both of them, or?
Yeah, both of them.
I've heard about the CCC Indian Division.
Yeah.
What'd you do for the CCC program?
Well, we cleaned out creeks or we planted trees. You know, you've probably seen them tree belts over around Carnegie.
Shelter belts.
Shelter belts. We did that. Mm-hmm. I used to sit in the truck and I was in the shade. I gave out that. I know them trees pretty good. I still know them. Boy, hey, you take this. I fill their trays up, and we a CC. Then we had a baseball team. We had a good baseball team. Cecil Perry, he's a punker, Pawnee, over here at Pawnee, Oklahoma. He was a commander there, you know. And so we'd go out early in the morning. So when we got back, we just worked 6 hours a day, you know. When we got back, then we practiced baseball from then on till it was supper time. But we got good by God. We beat some of them league players and some of them lesser, you know, the
minor league.
Minor league, yeah. See, we had good pitchers, and you know them wild Indians, they throw that ball. Oh yeah.
Where were you planting trees? What part of the state?
We planted around Fort Cobb, up towards Apache, east of Apache, then back towards west of Carnegie, then back south. You know, we seemed like they stuck to where the sandy soil.
Where was your camp located, where you lived?
Well, the first one that I went to was in Buffalo Springs in Buffalo Park at the reserve on Scott. And then we moved. We moved to Fort Cobb, right northeast of Fort Cobb. There's a road going, you know, right at the north end of Fort Cobb. There's a road going east. You cross that bridge, and over on this side there's a church there. That's where the camp was. And we did that, and we did a lot of things. We fenced. I think it was a good program.
How long were you in the CCC program?
I'd say about a year and a half, or maybe probably around 2, I guess.
Where'd you get the trees?
By golly, we got them over at the agency. I know we went over there and got them.
You said the agency?
Yeah, you know, that old town in Anadarko.
Okay.
But somebody, they came in from somewhere. They had them all in the burlap sacks, you know.
And you say Cecil Perry was commander?
Yeah.
Does he still live in Pawnee?
No, he died.
He died.
Some years ago. He was a good man. I sure didn't like him.
Now, was your company, was it all Indian, your company?
Yeah, they were all in. We had some Cherokees, and then we had a Choctaw, I think, or 2. And the rest of them was Comanches. And
what number was your camp?
I don't know. Let's see, that 613, I think, but there's a white camp. Because when we went to the tournament over here at Carnegie, they loaned us our ball suits, and they just had 6. So just the infield, but the outfielder had different suits on. That's how poor we were, but we almost did it. We played in the finals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I understand you in World War II.
Yeah.
Where'd you take your basic training?
Over at England.
Oh, in England?
Yeah, they shipped me so fast they made my head swim.
When did you join the Army?
I didn't join it, they drafted me. 42.
42. And in basic training, what did they teach you to do? What were you to be in the Army?
Oh, I had a submachine gun.
Oh. So you were infantry or?
Well, we were a liaison to, you know, whoever needed us.
Yeah.
Well, then, we threw them grenades around there. We done, you know, we exercises like anybody else.
When did you go into France?
We went to England. Then from there, that invasion of northern Africa. That's where we went in over there.
Okay, was that at?
No, it's not Brazerti. It's down the line there.
All I can think of is Oran. That's where the 45th Division.
Oran, that's
okay,
it.
You went Oran.
Yeah, that's
Were
the
you
one.
45th Division?
No, no. I was in liaison with the 3rd Infantry most of the time. Yeah, Oran. I'll never forget that because my pack was some way, you know, and my circulation was cut off, you know. I had a rough time, but I made it.
Tell me about Iran. What happened?
Well, that one, it was just, you know, a stopping place for us. We camped out there in the plowed field and it rained and talk about mud, the red mud, oh man. And God, I tell you, then finally they put us in trains. That's where it's dangerous, you know, they're strafing them. And we went up towards Tunis. And well, on the way, we didn't go just right through, you know. We always stop, you know, and then we go on again. And that's where one of the biggest tank battles of the war took place, right west of Tunis.
Were you there when that happened?
Yeah, we was right on the outskirts of there.
Tell me, what'd you do during that battle?
Oh, she was running around everything. It was strictly a tank battle.
Was that Kasserine?
No, Kasserine was back further.
Yeah, okay.
We were on that Kasserine was taking past. It almost broke through. We was all packed, ready to leave, and somehow we helped. Our planes helped a lot.
Yeah.
Wasn't for the planes, they kicked their butts. Yeah, Kasserine Pass. I'll never forget that place. We was going that way one day. We got lost. There we stopped. Oh, no cigarettes, no smoking. Everybody bed down, and that's it. They had them. You know how they got them windows encased, you know, and no reflection. So we would sleep there, and before we went to sleep, there was a row of it was kind of hedge-like thing, you know, pretty tall. And I and my buddy was, about two of them was going to bed down here. So we just had two. At that time, we didn't have no bedrolls. We just had two army blankets and an overcoat. Then when we find a straw stack somewhere, we fill our mattress covers with it. Mattress. Well, I carried mine a long ways. You gotta do it yourself, or else you're gonna suffer.
From North Africa, where'd you go?
Oh yeah. And then I was gonna tell you about that incident. So then we was gonna bed down, and I was getting ready to lay down. And I looked over and I seen a big old black snake. I said, hey, so I don't know them snakes over there. I says, hell with that. I didn't even tell them guys. I said, I think I'll sleep in the truck, you know. And they followed me over there. So we all bedded down. That's what I told them. I said, there's a big snake out there. And before it got too dark, we heard a gunshot over to the east of us. Somebody killed it over there. Damn, he was a big. I said, shit, it might have been poison. I said, hell, I ain't gonna have nothing to do with that. Yeah, then we got back to our lines there. We got lost there. Yeah,
How long you in North Africa?
Oh, we've been there for quite a while. That's why I don't like Arabs. I hate them damn people. They're crazy. They don't know what the hell they're doing. Yeah, we stayed there quite a while.
Did you go into Sicily?
No. We flew over that, but we didn't go in. But I was in a place where 30 miles from there. You know when that invasion came on? Who was guarding an emergency airfield there?
Let me see, what?
That's Pantelleria.
Okay.
And boy, that was hot that time. God, never strafed us every damn day.
Where was this?
Pantelleria.
Was that in Sicily or Italy?
That was between Cape Bone. Cape Bone was here, Pantelleria, then Sicily. Then that invasion of Sicily was going on.
Yeah.
And I guess when a lot of them planes get hit, you know, then they come and land on well, we didn't have nothing to do with the planes at all. We just guarded that strip. We had cardboards and damn fools they took off. First big raid we had, hell, they took off and left machine guns.
How long were you there?
Oh, about maybe about almost a month or 4 weeks or something like that. When it died down over there, you know, then that's when we went back to Cape Bone, and then they flew us over towards on the other side of you know, that boot, you know,
Yeah.
right at the heel there. I forget. Then I can't remember nothing, but that's what was bivouac. I mean, it was was ready to leave just any time. We stayed there for a couple about a week, I guess.
You go into Anzio or Salerno?
I went to Anzio.
You did?
Yeah.
What happened in Anzio? What happened?
Oh man, that was a rough place. That's all I can say. Oh, man, they could have almost had us there. She had her backs to the wall. Yeah, I went to Anzio. One of them, the way that General Patton, I think was his name. It wasn't that 45 pistol man, that other one. He was with the 5th Army. I was a dispatcher one time, and I went over there. And they were in the side of a hill. She's a little town in there. God, boy, they shook me down before I got in there. They shook me down when I was coming out.
How long were we at Anzio, the Americans?
We stayed behind there when they moved on. Then we caught up with them around Rome, but I just, it wasn't too long. And so from Anzio, we went into Rome. But the lines had moved, you know. We had to stay behind. Just like I say, she was in liaison with the other bunch. And we had to watch for the, you know, like rifles and anything that was left behind. Well, then we caught them up in Rome. Then from Rome, we went back over on the other side. We went over the mountains there, and that's how come I know them Bailey bridges. Boy, I'm sure scared of them.
Is that the Vosges Mountains?
I don't know what they were, but God, now you look down there, and they had them Bailey bridges, they call them. They had them. There's no supports there or nothing. When them trucks go over, they squeak and give like, you know, boy, oh, shoot, you fall down in there. God, that's way down there. Some of them trucks did fall. Yeah, then we went over on. I went to Florence.
What did you think of Rome and Florence?
Huh?
What did you think of Rome and Florence?
Rome, I'd rather be in Rome anytime. That Florence is kind of a sea port town.
Did you go to the Vatican or the old buildings there in Rome?
Rome, yeah. I got Florence to about a block and a half from there. Was it? Well, it wasn't too safe, you know. You can hardly go. I went one place. I sure wish I didn't. Somebody told me, said, "Hey, let's go up there." You know, when you're drinking, you know, hey, you don't care. We went to the catacombs, you know. I said, "Damn you!" He said, "We'll get lost down there. I'm gonna shoot you." Yeah.
From Florence, where'd you go?
We came back. Yeah, we came back to Leghorn.
Yeah.
Hey, somebody's coming in. Close the door, boy, and let the door guy. What are you doing with the door? Well, help him, man. Get out of here, dog. And Rome was all right. It was nice. I liked it. I went to the Coliseum there. You know, it's not big. I looked inside. I was standing up on the west side. And they had stalls there, you know. I guess that's where they keep the lions and whatever. I think that the way they did it, they had pins like, you know, and I think they had a top on it. And they fought above the lions or whatever they had. I don't know when the hell they got them lions.
Did you go into France?
Yeah, we went to southern. We came in on the southern side. I went through that resort town. What they call it?
Well, there's Marseille and Nice.
I went to Marseille.
Marseille.
Yeah. Nice. I went over there.
I've heard what they call the hedgerow fighting in
Hedgerow.
France. Yeah.
Well, it was on the other side.
Okay.
Yeah. We just practically walked in over there.
What about the Battle of the Bulge?
No, I just heard of it.
Yeah.
That's a rough wintertime. I'm telling you, that wintertime.
What's the worst combat you were in?
That's around Enzo.
Around Anzio. Tell me some incidents about Anzio. What happened?
Well, you know, it's not, you know, I just can't pick out one.
Yeah.
I'm always on the guard. Oh, I was sitting, we had to guard a strip, you know, right on the, you know, the big old mines was washed up ashore. They're about as high as this, them big ones. They got horns on them, you know. I don't go close to them damn things at all. And then I'd sit there, you know. See, I had my trusty old, I had an M1, but I used that submachine gun. I sat there, and boy, that water be lapping, I guess, on the shore, like, God, I could almost hear somebody talking Kiowa there. I guess it was my nerves, you know. It sounded like a bunch of kids, you know, and women and men, you know. Man, I could almost detect what they were saying, you know, but I just thought, I guess that's just me, you know.
Ever hear Anzio Annie when it fired that big railroad gun there?
Yeah, that's that booster you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it comes through there. Yeah, we knocked the heck out of that thing. It wasn't too effective.
Yeah. Where did you cross into Germany?
I didn't go to Germany.
Okay.
I went to Lyon and let us say, then back up in then towards this way towards the Swiss mountains. And we could see the Swiss mountains, Grenoble, and you know. But the way I didn't get to Germany.
Yeah. Okay. What'd you do in VE Day when Germany surrendered? Was there a big celebration?
I was at home then. See, they sent me home while the war was still going on with the Germans.
Oh, okay.
So I was on a train. 2 times I was on train. And when I heard Roosevelt's death, I was on a train. And then on the VE Day, I was on a train. And I was in California. Boy, I tell you that, I went quite a few places.
Any incidents happen on the ship going to Europe or coming back?
Well, we went from New York. We boarded the Queen Elizabeth, and it had a whole division of soldiers on this, and that's a lot of soldiers. We child line, you know, in the morning. Then we didn't even go back down there. We just wait for the next meal right there.
How big is that ship?
Oh man, that was a big one.
Where'd you sleep on that ship?
Oh, we had hammocks. Oh no, I'll take it back. It wasn't no hammocks. They had, you know, in them staterooms or whatever, you know, they had bunks built, board bunks, right up there to the ceiling. I was on about the 3rd one, but well, every 33 minutes, I think it was, it always turned. I was going like this, you know, back this way, you know, all night. And then we had a storm up there, just off of Greenland somewhere, you know. Oh, that boat would come out and the guy would go, well, just by the time I'd do something, it would come back down. Boy, it was bad, I tell you. And you know, like fools, we mess around on decks, on the promenade decks. Yeah. I mean, it could blow you off. God, that is windy. Don't fool around there. You don't need young, you don't give a duck.
What'd you do after the war?
I farmed a little bit over here on my mother's place. With the help of one of my friends there. He died here about a month and a half ago. He leased my pasture and and then I used his tools. You know, I had a tractor of my own, and I had a few tools, but he had drills, you know, and he helped me a lot. He's the one told me, he says, you go to school over here at SMU. You went over here at Norman.
Oh, OU?
OSU and and take up soil. He said, it'll always be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to printing school. I took up printing in Okla. That was my trade.
Yeah.
And that's where I retired from. My eyesight got weak. Don't turn it on now. Wait, now we're recording.
Yeah,
Well, whenever we.
Yeah, we have almost 2 hours now.
Yeah.
That's enough for one session. I'd like to come back if I could and talk some more if that's okay.
All right. Yeah, it'll be all right. Well, just let me know, and we'll set it up again.
Okay, I'd like to get some more stories about your father and grandfather, and the
Yeah,
Kaiwas.
I've got some more to tell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also, if you would consider some of the songs. I'd like to get some of the songs on tape if you could.
If my nephew's, he's going to come up here, and if he comes up here, we'll sing you them ghost dance songs.
Okay, good.
And they're pretty hard,
When
I
does
gotta have
how often does he come up here?
Well, I'm going to go see him. See, I get my my Social Security checks,
Yeah,
my veterans checks.
well, there's mine.
Okay. On the third, first and the third.
Yeah.
So I'll go down there, and my niece over here wants him over here.
What's your nephew's name?
Bill Penzelby.
Yeah.
Bob.
Does he live in Oklahoma City?
No, he lives in Anadarko.
Anadarko.
Bob, my older nephew, he's a preacher. He's a district superintendent in Kansas.
Penzelby?
Yeah. Yeah, he sings some songs.
Bob?
Good. Bob does.
Yeah.
But this one here is Bill.
Yeah. Okay.
But he knows them too.
Oh, okay.
They got some recordings or tapes. But Bob, if he knew that was going to use him here, he'd loan them to me.
Okay.
But I'm going to see him. I'm going to try to get me a vehicle of some sort here, maybe on the 3rd or a few days after. And I got to go. He's been sick, I don't want to go up and see him.
Yeah.
And when I'm up there, I'll hit him with that and see
Okay.
what he says.
When's a good time to come back sometime next week or so? Any day that's best for you?
Well, I don't do nothing anyway.
Okay.
But maybe I say next week. Next Monday, I gotta go over there.
Okay. How
And
about next Thursday? Would that be okay?
Yeah, that'd be all right.
That'd be a week from Thursday? Okay.
Yeah, well, that'd be in next month, then, won't it? Let's
Yeah,
see.
I think so.
I mean,
Thank you.
They give him breakfast, you know. That's what he sure like.
Can you hold the picture up and let me get a picture of that?
All right.
Those two sellouts would almost be assured. Oh, guaranteed. You know, the other thing, too, it gives them that magic number of 20 wins, too, at 19-2. It gets them up there. They do have a couple of big games left. As I said, they got a little, then they go to Memphis State or at New Orleans and a big game at LaSalle. That'll be on ESPN, by the way, on the 23rd. We've got Wake Forest and North Carolina.
And you say that's your grandfather?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What was his name?
Second Kia. That's it's misinterpreted, you know, Stumblingbear.
Can I turn this down?
Yeah, go ahead. Just turn it off. Hit that button on the right side there. Right there, yeah.
Yeah, what was his name again? You say?
It's really throwing bear, but somebody got it twisted around, so it becomes Stumblingbear.
And you say he was at Fort Sill?
Yeah, he was at Fort Sill.
Oh.
Yeah, him and Kicking Bird were cousins.
Kicking Bird, I know
Yeah.
that name.
Yeah, Kicking Bird and Stumblingbear, they were pretty closely kin. Kicking Bird was around there, and they were going. I don't know where they were going, but they were going up towards that canyon up there southwest of Amarillo, Texas. He said they had a watering well. Their horses, you know, they I guess maybe Paladoro, I think, Canyon.
Yeah, Paladoro Canyon.
Yeah, that's way down in there. And Dad said when there's a blizzard on a a sandstorm up there, down there, it's just still as it could be. And that's where they'd stop there and they'd water their horses, you know, revive them. And they'd go on, you know, wherever they were going. And so that's, you know, he's had a pretty good part in it.
Yeah. Now was he one of the scouts, your grandfather?
No, he wasn't. He was just one of the chiefs, you know, the Indians that was head of his tribe there.
Yeah. Tell me the story about the tunic again.
Oh yeah. Oh, he there was a big bunch of Indians, you know, met up with the cavalry. I mentioned a troop of cavalry up there northeast of Chilocco. So they said, "Who's going to go over there and talk to them?" You know. But, oh heck, they were reeling at each other then. And the grandpa said, "Well," he says, "y'all just stand here and wait." He says, "Give me that interpreter and we'll go up there." What he said, "I'm gonna tell you one thing." He says, "If you hear guns," he says, "go." He says, "We won't be around anymore." So he went up there and for that reason that general gave him this tunic. He says, in the face of you know you were going to die, but you came up there. And he says, you're a brave man. He says, you're worthy of this tunic. So he let him have it. And that's how come he's got it.
What was the general's name? Do you know?
You know, I get mixed up on that. I think it could be Major General. I was calling it yesterday and I forgot. Well, this general, this shirt in here, the Indians call him. They got a nickname for him. They always call him Baggy Britches. You know, that's the Indians had a name for him. And it's just that word they call him, you know, is the Baggy Britches. But he was a general. And they was target practicing one day up there, you know, and them guys are good shots, you know. They get up and they'd hit that target, you know, and that feller, you know, the two guys that was, you know, keeping track of the marks, you know. They give them that Maggie's drawers, you know. Hey, y'all better quit. He said, "There's a general up there." So he was shooting it. And they gave him the Maggie's drawers, you know.
Well, that was Sheridan?
Yeah, Sheridan, General Sheridan. And them other Indians told them other guys, you know, them scouts, you know, told them, "Hey, y'all better behave." He said, "This is General up there."
How did your grandfather's name get changed to Stumblingbear?
I don't know. Somebody just misinterpreted. You know, in them days, you know, they couldn't speak too good English, you know, and so it's really throwing bear is what it is.
Okay.
And say them key, when you throw, that's them key. He said, Sate is a bear. And stumbling bear, he was stumbling to fall, you know. No, well, see that from the throwing bear. You know, if somebody would have interpreted it right, it'd have been throwing bear.
Yeah. Where was your grandfather born? Do you know?
Right in the, you know, you can't. It's pretty hard to say. See, they were nomads, you know. They were just moving from here to there, and he could have been born way up around in up there. They call it the no water land up there. That's you know, in Arizona.
Oh, okay.
Tone has this, Tone is water, and so there's no water up there. There's a lot of Mexicans that live around there. You know, he brought home. You know, he's got a story. You know that almost like this Mrs. Durgan over here at Mountain View. See, she was a captive, and Grandpa brought a girl over. At the time, she was, I'd say, about 6 years old. You know, it's put like this. They was coming back they was on a raid, and the Comanches first caught her. So she was with a Comanche man. Had her strapped on the back of his horse, and that girl was dying of fatigue, you know. So Grandpa noticed that. So he went over. He was, you know, he's got had a war horse. You know, there's a good story behind the war horse. That's his medicine horse. And so he went up and told this Comanche. I used to know his name too. He says, I'll tell you what we'll do. He says, you give me that girl and I'll give you my horse, the one I'm riding. He was going, he said, war horse, but he said, no, I can't trade him. So I'll trade you the one I'm riding. He was just leading him. So this horse was all beat up, I guess, and they traded. He traded that girl for that horse. So he said, y'all go on. He said, we'll be home. So I guess it was the Rangers or some of them outfits over there was right on their tails. It could have been the cavalry. So they went on and they left him there. But 2 or 3 weeks later, they came home, and that girl was strong again. So she grew up around in this area with the Kaiwas. And I never did see her, but she was no Indian at all. Dad said she had blue eyes.
Yeah. She's still living?
No. She's a Gumbai.
Yeah.
The old lady Gumbai was the one.
Yeah.
That's the one he raised. So she went and married into the tribe. She married one of the Gumbais, and he was a white man too. Them Gumbais are not Indians at all. They're real light complected. And he was the one that brought that the head of that family's mama. He's the one that raised her.
Okay.
And I know that in the later years here, before Dad died, he used to always want to go to the Matthew Botone and Robert Botone. You know, that's about, let's see, Matthew, there was about 4 or 5 of them Botone boys. That was his nephews. You know, it wasn't through blood, but it was through that captive thing. So he always wanted to go. We always take him over there, and we'd let him stay there for 3 or 4 days. And they sure treat him good, though.
Your father? Oh, go ahead.
They always have a reunion of that Botone family. They didn't. I don't know whether they know that story or not, but they would even invite. They never did invite me, but they invited my nephew. His name is Robert Penzelby. That was my sister's boy. And they always invite him. But it says, hey, I don't care. I says, if they don't want to invite me, I says, I don't care. I says, but Grandpa raised that girl. And that's a true story. I don't think too many Indians knew about that.
Where did he trade the horse for? Do you know where it was?
Yeah, well, it was in a raid. They was coming back home from Texas or wherever they were.
Yeah.
A lot of times they go into Mexico, and that's when I'd say that there were the cavalry took in after them. And oh hell, they was right on their tails, and their horses was all in. That's when he traded for that girl. And that Comanche man, the one that had her to begin with, he's the one that grabbed her over there, I guess, when they scattered them out. So he said, yeah, I'll trade you. So they traded. You know, our Indians talk Comanche. I guess Dad talks it. But he said it was easy. I can't talk it, but I understand a lot of it. Well, anyway, so they traded. He brought her home, and that girl grew up with the tribe, and she had an Indian name. Her name was Kabe.
Kabe?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I really don't know, but it's a Kiowa, old Kiowa word is what it is.
Now, do you speak Kiowa?
Yeah, but there's a lot of words there. I don't see some of the older Indians. You know, they got the words for different. Just like sate, you know, that's a bear. You know, which say we got different. My generation's got different name for sate. Sate is a bear. See, there's two different words. They got a name for one of them, you know, them llamas. You know, and them llamas are from South America. Yeah. And I said, then I guess we must have been over there somewhere. And then they got an Indian name for them, little animals. Huh. So I always did think that, you know. I used to know that word and I forgot. I think I know who knows it though. This Parker McKenzie.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He went to Rainy Mountain.
Yeah, he went to school over there.
Do you know anyone else besides Parker that went to school at Rainy Mountain?
My brother went there, but he died here about a month ago. Yeah, Parker was telling me, he says, the facilities over there, like bathing facilities, he says, there's hardly any. They just heat water up on them big cook stoves, and at a certain time, he said, we'll take turns bathing. I guess they had it pretty rough over there. He said, there was colder than hell in them big buildings. I seen them buildings. They just tore them down not long ago. Mm-hmm. We used to work right in that, and that's Indian land there. Yeah. And we used to work over there.
When did they close Rainy Mountain?
My brother was over there the last year, and that was 1917.
1917. Yeah,
that's when they closed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mentioned that war had something to do with it.
Yeah. Were you born? Where were you born?
Apache.
Apache.
15. Well, I know some of the older people. You know, just I know this medicine man. He's from around Saddle Mountain. He doctored me for I had on both sides. I had pneumonia. Mm-hmm. By golly, he cured me.
He did?
Yeah, he sure did.
What did he use?
Oh, he just used his mouth and he cut me right here. That's how come I was real afraid of him in the later years.
Yeah. When
I see him somewhere, man, I was thinking, oh, I didn't like him, because he was sucking me right here. He takes that blood out right here. Mm-hmm. And well, in the later years, the Indians, when they doctored on that, I got a good medicine for sprained ankles. Mm-hmm. My mother used to use that. I used to play baseball a lot, and I sprained my ankles about 9 different times, bad ones. And boy, it would blew right along in here, and she'd take me and cut him. Yeah. Right here, I got the scars here. She'd get a beer bottle, the brown ones. And with a back end of her butcher knife, she cuts them, she breaks it, and she tests them, sharp ones, and she can tell. She put them over here, dull ones over here, until she gets enough. Then Then she said, all right, I'm ready now, come over here. I remember the last time we was playing over here at Carnegie. I went into second, and my spike got caught. Damn, I couldn't hardly walk. There was a championship game too, so when we got back to the house, she knows. She, for a person that didn't speak English, she used her head,
Yeah.
And so she said, I see you sprained your ankle again. Yeah, I said, I did. Well, he says, in the morning, he says, let's go back. Well, we were staying up at my sister's house.
Mm-hmm.
We had a Model T Ford. He said, get that car ready. He says, we'll go home and I'll fix you up. Said, and we was playing that afternoon, too. And I couldn't even, that morning I got up and my brother sure was just like a big old mother hen. He had warm water ready for me to, put warm water on it. Boy, that thing was swollen as glue. So that morning, she got in the car with us, and she had a little brown bag. And at that time, she didn't use she used a horn.
Yeah.
Maybe you've seen one of those. They get one that's real round,
Mm-hmm.
They cut it. It'll be about that long, 4 or 5 inches, and they fix it, and the way they do it, they chew the sinew, and when that sinew is wet, it's just like gum, but nothing goes through there. It's sealed. Oh. So she stuck me right here, by 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Right here, she put one here, put the other one back here, one right here, and one on top. And my God, when she gets through, I walked around. It takes the soreness out. I says, maybe I ought to go over here to OU, and when they turn their ankles, I'll fix them.
Yeah.
All I need is a horn. Yeah, and boy, I tell you that. Then I looked in that blue spot that was here, it was gone. She said what it does, it collects that bad blood in there, and it had dirt with it. And I could see, when she does that, you could see that blood going, she put that suction on it.
Yeah.
It pulls it out like that, and when she sees it's just about that, how much she'd put that sinew right out there at the opening, and then she'd turn it over, and then she'd spill it on there, and then she'd put it on the other side. When I played ball that afternoon, they got me a sponge, for my shoe. But this part here where it was blue, it was gone. And my coach there, he was looking and said, what you do to this? I told her, I said, my mother did it. I said, she fixed me. Boy, he couldn't believe it. Boy, he seen my ankle, that evening. He said, you're not going to play with this thing for a while. Shit, the next day I was on the field again.
Where were you born?
Apache.
That's why I asked you that. That's right.
Yeah,
that's
Apache.
Right. Did you go to Sulaco?
No, I didn't. I did. I was up there, but it wasn't for the schooling. I was there for that. They had airplane, what they call installation mechanics there. I didn't stay there long though. When that was over, then my brother and them they went to Wichita, Kansas. They went to work up at Bowen, and me, heck, I was drafted, and I didn't even use it. So he stayed with him for for so many years, and I think he was getting a pension there from there, for staying there a long time. So anyway.
Did you attend any of the reservation schools?
Yeah, Fort Sill.
Fort Sill?
Yeah.
When did you go there? What year?
1934, 33 and 34.
What chores did you have to do at the school? What work did you have to do?
Not much. I was on a baseball team, so I didn't do much. I just all I did was throw that ball around. That's all I did. They thought a lot about baseball, It's just like football, Then I went to New Mexico, to Santa Fe. That's where I played football and basketball. They didn't have no baseball, so I didn't let her in baseball because they didn't have that.
Yeah. Did you go in the military?
Yeah.
Were you drafted or did you?
Yeah, I was drafted.
When did you go in?
Let's see, I went in 1941.
41.
I came back latter part of 44.
Did you go in before Pearl Harbor?
Just a little bit after that. I was in Sri Lanka when that happened. So we had to leave, after that, So see, when the United States went to war, so this is where we expect, that have talk, Well, they drafted me, but I went in over here. I came out of here, over here. Then they took me to Fort Sill, and from there they took me to New Orleans, and shit. In 3 weeks' time, I was overseas. I was in England.
What'd you do in the Army, in the military?
Oh, well, we were on the, we go to the airfields and we take care of them airplanes that come in, that's been shot at. And we guard them too, so nobody won't steal them. And it's pretty dangerous work.
Where'd you go for your basic training?
I was in England. We had most of it in England.
You have any training in the States?
Yeah, a little bit.
When you first went in, where'd you go?
Over here at Fort Sill.
Oh, Fort Sill?
It wasn't nothing much to that. But it was in England, so we had most of it. See, we had to be ready. They thought, I guess you remember the first part that they thought England was going to get invaded. So we was getting ready for the Germans over there.
What was the reaction of the English people to the Americans, the Indians?
They didn't like us.
Why?
I don't know. I went to the Arab country. I stayed in the Arab country about 3 months. They didn't like us for shit. I didn't like them either. I said, if they want anybody shot, I said, they want a fellow that shoot him. I says, get me. I said, I'll go over there and shoot him for nothing. Yeah, they didn't like us at all.
Yeah. Were you there for D-Day?
Yeah, I was. No, I done came home.
Okay.
That's when I was in California when D-Day came.
Well, were you a member? What division?
Oh, that's third.
Third division?
Yeah. That's a pretty rough outfit.
Where'd they go in the Army?
Oh hell, we went all over. Let's see, we went to England, then we came back. We came back to. Then we was in on that invasion of northern France. We landed up there in one little port town over there, that little Arab town. As soon as I seen them Arabs, I didn't like them then. I shot at one with my machine gun. I'm pretty sure I hit him back then. I couldn't miss back then. He had a knife on him, that's like, and I told him he ran, and I said, you better stop, you damn fool. And I put about 2 bursts on him.
Yeah.
Shit, I know I got him. He fell down, so I didn't even go there. Hell, he might be hooked up,
Where was that?
That was in let's see, it was outside of Tunis. Yeah, when we went through Tunis, that's a big city. And I was telling my boys, in Tunis I was a pimp. The girls are pretty. God done, they're good looking girls. They're French and Arab. Oh shit, they're beautiful. They got them veils on.
Yeah.
You pull one off and they're I never touched their skin. I says, I'm not counting these girls here in the United States. Around the thighs, they've got skin that's, I don't know, you can hardly touch them. I mean, and I don't know what the hell they use. But I says, they might be using camel milk or something. Damn, that's smooth, a smooth skin.
Yeah. How long were you in Tunis?
Tunis, we was there for about 6 months, I guess.
Then where'd you go?
Then we went down the line there up towards SFAX, And so then we came back. Then we was up there at that place there where they almost broke through. If they broke through, we'd still been over there. So, God, then they come so close to come through.
Was that the Battle of the Bulls?
No, that's the Battle of Castorian Pass.
Oh, Castorian Pass.
God damn, they like to broke through.
Were you there?
Yeah, I was over there.
What happened there, Castorian Pass?
Shit, they just kicked the shit out of us. That's what they did. And we had everything said to blow up. Well, we had instructions. He said they just about broke through. He says wore everything up. And said, well, if we have to go right, right quick, he says we'll blow everything up, especially with them trucks and stuff, ammunition and whatever we had, See, we was looking for it, for that thing that Rommel almost came through. And we found out later if it had came through, shit, I don't know, we'd have got taken prisoner.
Yeah. What'd you do at the Battle of Castorian Pass? What'd you do?
We did a lot of guarding, We had to watch our outfits, Then they put you out there. You can't go to sleep. Hell no. Yeah, one Italian boy went to sleep. Shit, they shipped him off to Africa alive. They could have shot him, if they wanted to. If some of our boys got killed while he was on that tour duty there, they'd have shot him. No, you can't go to sleep, no sir.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How long did Castorian Pass last, that battle?
Oh, that lasted quite a while. Oh, they just beating the shit out of us. We chased them the other way, but them son of a bitches came back. We had what saved us, I think, is we had air support.
Yeah.
God damn, first time we seen them twin fuselages, P-38s.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, we're standing there clapping it. Shit, Germans beat the shit out of them.
How come they beat us so bad?
I don't know. They were trained. They were more experienced. They were combat veterans. Damn, they just beat the. Well, hell, one of them damn aces was riding a damn formation of the P-38s. Hell, they was looking ahead, and that damn guy was hitting them from behind. Hell, they didn't even know it till he got 3 of them. Yeah, they was right on our tails. Shit, if they'd have broke through there, I don't know where in the hell we'd have went. Just take off through the desert there somewhere, I guess. Mm-hmm. They had us in the cattle train.
Did you go to Italy?
Yeah, I was in Italy.
Where?
In Naples and Rome and right through in there, Then back over the hill there.
Yeah. Were you in Naples when the volcano erupted?
Yeah, I was there. I was right next to it.
Tell me about that.
Well, that's the loudest damn thunder I ever heard in my life. Shit, that scared the shit out of me. God damn, when well, the way it was, that Mount Vesuvius, it started smoking. Damn, we just settled down pretty good, and the damn thing would have to erupt. But right above that, there would come a cloud, just right up there. I guess there's heat up there or something. And talk about lightning and thunder. I never seen nothing like that. God damn it, it shook the whole damn countryside. I said, I witnessed that as this, what you might say, ravages of nature. There's nothing you could do, nothing. And it started coming down. They sent me up there. They sent I and another guy up there. I said, measure it, see how fast it's coming down. Yeah. We had a tape. And then we, so many feet, about 12 feet, I think. Mm-hmm. Then we timed it to see. Then we'd head on to that 12 feet, and maybe we'll get a, and that damn shit. Well, what made me feel real funny was that I seen that lava come up against a 2-story brick building. Oh hell, it was almost a half a block long. Mm-hmm. It came up there. That lava was almost high as that house. But well, there's a funny thing. I see on TV, their lava is always slushing. Yeah. Well, they didn't do that. It was just in a clinker form. Hell, you know, you can hear it when it rolls down over the top, from the top. It's just like, you know, you know these coal stove. I mean, yeah, coal stoves. You know the meshes. That's what that. But at night, that thing is fiery red.
It was.
Oh man, it's just red. Let's see. That door, no, about twice as far as from that door, the pine trees. It'll come that close, and then that pine tree will burst into flames.
How hot is that lava?
Oh hell, it was hot.
You rescue any people from the mountain?
Yeah, we had to force them off of there. Them old people didn't want to go. See, we catch them in the door. They said, "Bust that bite again." They quit. Bust the shit. You gotta go.
Were you at Anzio?
Yeah, I was over there.
Tell me about Anzio.
Well, it was right next to the sea there. That was a rough place. I didn't like that place at all.
How come we got stuck there at Anzio?
Shit, the Germans stopped them, that's all. See, they were shooting from the sea, too. Hell, they gave it to us from the sea and from the air. They had pretty good air force, you know, they were very strong there. Then from there we went to, let's see, we went to Rome. But it had quieted down. It moved on further, you know, when we got to Rome. Oh, hell, we took it after the girls. So. And then we stayed there. Well, then they put us in trucks again. They took us across some damn hills up there. That's what scared the shit out of me.
What hills are those?
Right northwest of Rome. High hills. I guess they're part of that Swiss Alps or something.
Was that the Vosges Mountains?
Wow.
Yeah.
I know them Bailey bridges.
Yeah.
That's what they had up there.
Mm-hmm.
And damn, you come over one of them damn canyons. Shit, that canyon, damn, it looked like about a half a mile down there. Your truck for them, it just squeak and every damn thing else. When you
How do you put a Bailey bridge across a place like that?
They just I never did see one, but they don't have no supports in the middle.
Yeah.
So I think they put them together up there somewhere. Then maybe from the other side they pull them with them tractors or something. Mm-hmm. They get them across there. Mm-hmm. And god damn, I was sitting in them damn trucks and it seemed like damn it just swayed. I said, God damn, get this damn truck off of this damn thing. Boy, shit, I looked down there and oh hell, it was way down there.
Did you cross those hills in the wintertime?
No, it was warm.
Okay.
That damn Englishmen, they always block us off. They always be on the way, you know, drinking tea. I said, get your damn trucks out of the way, we're going through. And they were strafing too. God damn. I said, shit. I said, if one of our boys get hurt, I said, hell, we'll shoot them.
Ever come in contact with any of the code talkers, you know, the Indians that spoke the Indian language? Of the radio?
I know them over here, where they first started.
Yeah,
Comanches.
Red Codinall.
Yeah, I know.
And Red Elk and William Carty.
Yeah, I know Red Carty. He died here.
Yeah, he did.
That's my friend.
Yeah. I got him on tape. I interviewed him.
Yeah, Red Carty now, he's got a lot of white in him.
Yeah.
And he's a good guy. I sure did. I lost a good friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he sure, you know, I thought a lot of him and he thought a lot of me. Yeah. See, we was working over here at Fort Cobb, down to that CC.
I was going to ask if you were in the CCC Indian Division.
Yeah, I was in there.
How was that organized?
I don't know. It's just a grant through the government, I think.
Yeah. What kind of work do you all do?
Oh, we planted trees and...
Or the shelter belts?
Yeah, shelter belts, and then we built them, you know, in them fields, you know, where they had terraces.
Yeah.
We built them little block, you know, if they get too full, you know, they did like a falls or something like that, but they won't wash away.
Yeah.
Yeah, we done it pretty good. They still up, by God.
Was there any? Do you have any connection with the white guys in the CCC? You're just strictly with the Indians.
Indians, nothing but Indians.
Oh, okay.
We used to play baseball. Was over here at Medicine Park, to the west there, what they call Buffalo Park. And they had a camp there. Because we went over there that time, was playing baseball. We had a good baseball team, all young guys. And we didn't have no suits. See, they could have bought us suits. What the hell? And we almost won that tournament too. We was in the finals. So we went over there to that white CCs. They had suits, so we went over there and we borrowed them. We borrowed their suits. They just had 6. 3 of our boys was running out there with their suits.
Why wouldn't they buy you suits?
I don't know. They claimed that they were short on money. But we sure put the CCID junior on the map. We played teams like Okla and teams up, eastern part of the state. We beat them too. Yeah, we had a good ball team.
What was the number of your camp, the CCC camp?
Didn't have no numbers, but I know where it is. I believe I can still find it if I go over there.
Where was it located? Near what town?
It's you go it's west of Lawton.
Okay.
And you go towards
Altus?
Yeah, towards Altus or Indahoma.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's about, I'd say northwest of Indahoma.
Okay.
But you're still in that reservation, We used to go. I used to work around up on the post, cutting grass, and we used to take them tractors way up there. Oh, I had this way back down there, 14, 15 miles. It's still on the reservation. But that used to be all Indian land.
Yeah.
See, he's the one that was telling his boy, He said that soldiers just came here for overnight. Then they just stayed there. But I think I know why. They had good water and good grass there.
Yeah.
That's why. See, in them days, they had mules and stuff like that. Yeah, Red Carter and I sure hated that about it.
Yeah.
He had cancer, I think that's what killed him.
Did the Kaiwas teach the language to the children?
They did, but my own opinion of the thing is, the whole thing is, it'll never work. You got to grow up with it.
Yeah.
If you don't grow up with it, you just ain't gonna learn it.
How many speakers are there left? Kiowa speakers.
There ain't much, I'll tell you. We got one boy over there in Anadarko. His name is Dumbo. He's about the best one that I know of. I and him get together. We use old Indian words,
You do?
Yeah, and we sing old songs, That people don't understand that.
Does he ever come over here, or do you go over there?
I go over there. He don't hardly go anywhere. He's getting up in age,
You think he'd let us record some of those songs?
I think he will. I can ask him next time. I'll see him every time I go down.
Sure, yeah.
See, he's my friend. And we're the oldest ones of the bunch, I guess.
What's his name?
Dumbo. His name's Harry.
Harry Dumbo?
Yeah. He might have a post. He lives in Stecker, Oklahoma. You know what Stecker is?
Yeah.
Going towards Anadarko and Apache. Well, that Stecker's is just on this side. That's where he lives.
Yeah.
And if we ever get him, I can help him.
Yeah. Okay.
And that way, I know some songs that I don't think he knows, and some songs he knows that I don't know.
How old are these songs? Oh,
hell, they're way back there. Yeah. So around the ghost dance songs. The government made the Indians quit ghost dancing.
Why?
I don't know. They didn't believe in that. They get him all balanced or something. I don't know why, but I don't know. Once they got them on where they wanted them, then they were just good as prisoners.
Oh yeah.
I wish they were.
When Rainy Mountain closed, they have another school for the Indians, for the Kaiwas.
Yeah. Well, they had Fort Sill.
Yeah.
See, I'm a Kiowa, Comanches. That's where I first knew Red.
Okay.
He was just about the same age I was. And then I went to let's see, I went to Riverside.
Yeah.
Riverside at the Fort Sill. Then I went to New Mexico. That's where I got my high school.
Where in New Mexico did you go?
Santa Fe.
Santa Fe. Did you know Nezzy Leathers at Riverside?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. You know, she lives here in Oklahoma City now.
They always call her Miss Leathers.
Yeah, she retired.
Well, was she a matron or something?
She taught there. I don't know if she was a matron, but she did teach at Riverside, and she retired and she moved to Oklahoma City.
Yeah, I remember her.
Yeah, she lives here now.
I bet you she's getting old.
Yeah, she's getting up there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, I guess she's probably the last one of the bunch there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember her name.
Do you remember? Did your mother ever tell you any children's stories about the Kiowas?
Oh, my mother was one of those what they call midwives. She, you know, like if they gonna have a born a kid over there, she'd go over there and take him.
Yeah.
That's the word they use. She'd go over there and she took a lot of them. Oh man, I tell you. So they didn't even take them to hospitals. I think I was taken by one of my aunts.
Yeah.
And see that was kind of a little before the hospital thing.
Yeah, right. Do you remember any stories that your mother told you from the?
Yeah, yeah. Well, see, on both sides of my family, her daddy was he was a wheel too.
What was his name?
Let's see, what's his name? He's got a Kiowa. It always hit me every now and then. But he had a lot of horses, I claim, and that's where I think that's where them speckled ass horses.
Appaloosa.
Appaloosas. He had some. I don't know where he probably stole them somewhere. And he had them, man, but he was noted for his riding horses. Them Appaloosas had a lot of endurance in them. Shit, they go from now on. That's how come they like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's the one, let me see. They was out on a war party. And one of them young bucks got hit right through the mouth, I guess on the side of his mouth. He went down in here and came out through here. I guess pretty close to his jugular vein here. And he said he was dying. Yeah, Grandpa rode up. And so he ordered them two young guys. He said, there's a little incline like. He says, take him over there and lay him down with his head down this way. So they took him over there. Boy, he said and he was drowning in his own blood.
Yeah. And
that blood came out. So he stayed really just like my grandpa did with that little girl. He says, "Yo, go on. Go on." They said, "We'll be home." So what he did, he went out there and there's a lot of big old prickle pears, you know. He cut one of them. I guess they got healing properties. Yeah. He had a knife. He'd peel him, you know. Made him pretty kind of thin, you know. Then right where the wound was, he put it there. Then he tied it on there. And by golly, that he brought him home, and he was all right. And he was his first Indian to perform surgery.
He was.
Yeah, in other words, cutting. Somebody had a bullet somewhere in his back, and the maggots got in there, and he said, "Boy, it was just killing him." I guess some damn things moving there.
Yeah.
Right on his backbone. And so he looked at him, and he went out. He went out there and came back with one of them buffalo grass, you know, them red grasses. They look like them straws, you know, cold drink straw. So he took a knife, you know, and cut him. But you know, he could tell two holes there. He said he cut them two holes together, then he stuck that weed in there, that grass. When he put it in there far enough, I guess he used buffalo grease, you know, or something. And it went right on in there, you know, and then he blew it. See, when he blew it, he could tell where they dug, you know, or burrowed, you know. See, that air, I guess, it must have been pretty close to the top. But then it stopped right at this place, right there. He got a sharp knife and he cut that. He got him out of there. He said he fixed him, and after that guy slept like a log. Then that's using his darn old head.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they was claim about him. They said that's the first one that used a knife.
Yeah.
That's surgery, I guess, when you use a knife. Yeah. And I guess he's pretty handy, by golly, for all the things he did. He had horses that he cut their ears, and they're like this. They got split ears, and so whenever anybody see a horse, they always, and making fun. He says, he's got one of them split ear horses. Yeah, he must have been pretty smart.
Yeah.
A story about him came out in the Daily Oklahoman. Oh, heck, it's been a long time ago, but I had seen it. And it has some of that. Ernest Hunt was the one that wrote it.
What? Who wrote it?
Ernest Hunt.
Yeah.
From around Mountain View.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll bet you there's a copy somewhere.
Oh yeah. Well, we have it on file.
I bet
Yeah,
you
we have all the newspapers there.
Yeah, way back there.
Yeah.
Well, this was when I was a boy, but I seen that article in there.
Mm-hmm.
It was about, I think there was a picture in there of him too. Maybe you look through this sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna have to head on back to the office pretty quick, but I'd like to get with you and Mr. Dumbo.
All right, next time I go down there,
yeah.
I'll talk to him. Then I'll get in touch with you over here.
Now I'm going to Belgium, first of next week with the Army, and I'm in the Army Reserve, and we're going to Europe for 19 days.
Oh, that's going to be a good trip.
Yeah, I'm going to be back March 13th.
Well, maybe you go get in London. I've been in London. I've been to London too.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to London, but we're going to Brussels in Belgium.
Boy, I've been to that Birmingham.
Yeah.
Those are big towns.
Yeah.
But they're. I don't know that I can't put my finger on it. There are a lot of damn people there, but they're not. They're not spread it out. Right. I don't think they've got the land to do that.
Right.
They sure had they had a lot of girls there.
Yeah. Today's 17th. Today's 17th?
I think so.
February 17th. Yeah. And your first name is Reuben?
Yeah.
Yeah. Reuben Stumblingbear. That's right.
Well, you got my phone number.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'm going to go up that way. I got my checks are come in over there. My VA checks.
Good.
So when I go over there, then I'll get in touch with you.
Were you wounded in the service?
Yeah.
Where? Where is?
Overseas, and that's where I spent most of my time.
What battle were you wounded in?
Oh, let's see. That was in Anzio.
Anzio.
Yeah.
I guess that. Tell me about that big gun the Germans had.
Oh yeah, that's that booster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen that. I was standing right by it. I said, some of which might have a damn. You know how they wore them up. Hell, I was afraid to touch it. Another thing I was afraid of was them water mines up there. Where we swim. Mm-hmm. They'd wash up there. Big old horns on it. Shit, them guys would always go around him. I said, shit, I was about to go across.
Remember that big railroad gun?
Yeah.
At Anzio? And up in Maryland now, they have that in the museum.
They brought it. They brought it over.
They brought it over here.
Yeah, I seen that gun. Heck, it was still mounted on that track.
Yeah.
But hell, it was all boogered up there.
How big of a shell did that thing fire?
Oh shit, it's a big one. I'd say about 16 inch. See, but the thing was, when they fired it, then you could hear them shells, and they get to a certain point, then it'll explode again and throw another one. That's what it was doing.
You just hit the sand and hope?
Yeah. Yeah, I was around there up at Anzio for quite a while. Mm-hmm. We used to guard that place because our people left a lot of stuff there.
What'd you do every day at Anzio?
Oh yeah, we just guard mostly. Them people are, it's the guard that gets the mind the darn things. Gets some of our boys killed.
Yeah, and you in the 3rd Division?
Yeah. Oh, shoot! Then they took us to Rome, and then we went over the hills. That's when them damn Bailey bitches.
Yeah.
I don't like them Bailey bitches.
Ever have any contact with the boys in Chilocco that were in the 45th Division?
No, I seen this boy from Mountain View. His name's Suter, and he wanted to stay overnight with me, so I took him to where we were, and we got us a jug of wine. Then we went way out in the desert. we sit on one of them sand dunes, and we'll start drinking, you know. All right, go ahead, sing one. You know, 49 songs, you know.
Yeah.
Boy, he cracked one eye. Boy, was he feeling pretty good. See, we was both armed though, you know. Somebody bothered us. Hell, they couldn't get to first base. I had a 45 machine gun, and I don't know what he had, but we was well armed.
Well, I need to get back to the
All right.
office.
Okay, all right then.